Hello everybody, we are back on the bus build. On the previous episode, we went ahead and deleted all of these lights off of the front of the bus and did a bunch of body work in preparation for coating the roof and putting the skylight in. And that's what we're going to do in this episode. We're going to get the roof coated, we're going to put the skylight in, we're going to do some wiring, we're going to be all over the place, but we're going to be miles ahead of where we started when we end this episode, and we'll finally have some stuff completed. Good afternoon, everybody. I just wanted to check in with you guys. It's been a while since I worked on this. In this video I kind of skipped ahead. It's been, I don't know, a week or something. Got a lot of other stuff going on, but you'll see videos on all that. So I've been kind of multitasking with this. I think you guys have seen this. I got this whole front section done. This is new. I've been working on the wiring. Since we removed all those lights, I had to go in and just basically pull all that wiring down. I'll show you guys that here in a second. Let's go in there and take a look. So this is done up here. I got all the lights and lettering off on this side. So here's the wiring conundrum here. So all the wiring from this, the wiring that came over here to operate this door when it was an electronic door, all of that came this way and then came down, and a lot of this is going to have to be, or some of this is going to have to be lengthened. Not necessarily this stuff, because I think I can bring it along here and bring it down, but all of this stuff for sure, which I've got kind of laying down. So you can see right here, it doesn't go up to the top anymore. So this stuff is all going to have to be lengthened. So I've been tracing it back to here, and this is a lot of it, and then I'll trace it into here and find out where it goes in here and try to eliminate a lot of this stuff. It's just lights that we don't need, like all the emergency flashers. We're getting rid of all that. The back lights are just going to be clear lights for nighttime, backing up, or like setting up camp or whatever. And I'll have those on a switch. And then some of this is the lights for the actual, like this harness right here is all the wiring for the tail lights, the turn signals, just all of that stuff. So none of that's getting chopped out of there. But I actually did pull this and pull a lot of this was, or 3 of these I pulled that are for the overhead lighting in the rear that I'm going to change over to the clear lights. So I pulled a lot of those except for this orange one. We're basically going to use this one orange one to run that. And I'll have to de-pin it from in here and hook it up to a switch source. I'll do something like that. I want to eliminate as much of this extra wiring as I can because I don't need it, and I want to turn this into a nice like console or something, and then I'll move the switches that we do need over here. I'll move them over to this panel because this panel's got a lot more room and I like them there better anyways. They're easier to access and you can see them rather than being next to you. And then we got the chains, which I want to keep those, so we'll move the chains over there. We'll move all of this stuff over to there, so that way we don't have anything on this panel. And then we'll make some sort of console here and have some storage and some charging stuff, charging capabilities and all that. Here's some of the other wiring that I've already pulled. Like these are the 3 wires that ran to those overhead lights in the back, and then just some other stuff. And then you can see I still have some here undetermined. So I think I'm going to leave these because I'm going to have like 12-volt lights in the bathroom, and then we already have some overhead lighting as it is. But you know, I'm just basically working my way through all of that stuff. So I came back here, and this is finalized back here. So I pulled all of that wiring for those overhead lights back there. I've got the overhead lights pulled, and I'm working on the lettering. You can see right here. So I'm working on the lettering there. I got all the lights. I got the wiring that I'm gonna do is I got that figured out there, and I had to pull this panel here and basically I had to unwrap all of this, and I rewrapped all of this and put it back up, and I wanted to show you guys before I put this panel back over it. So yeah, it's a lot of time invested on this one. This is going to be one video you're going to see in just tons of hours of me just picking away at things and trying to get this closer to where we can put the roof up. Which I don't need to be working on this wiring, but it's kind of been bothering me and it's part of the project, so I'm just doing it while I'm in here. And then as soon as I get all the lettering and the pressure washing and the sanding, and my next project is to get this thing. And that's one of the systems we eliminated, was all of the buzzer stuff for when you open an emergency exit. So we had, obviously had one back there for the door when it was all the way back there, and they had one for each one of the emergency exit windows and one for this door. So all of that stuff has been ripped out. I haven't ripped out all that up here, but actually this right here is that buzzer. So I got to go in here and I got to remove that and all the associated wiring. And then look, we got wires like this right here. Look at this one bare wire just hanging out, doing nothing. We got a lot of unterminated stuff that just basically was like extra. That's what it seems like anyways. It's like extra circuits. So there were like butt connectors up here that didn't go to anything. Anyways, I'm going to keep on working on this. I'm going to put that panel back up there. I'm going to finish scraping the letters, and I'll probably come back to you when we start working on getting this thing out of here and figuring out how our skylight is going to fit in there, which hopefully that's going to fit in there easily. So that's the plan. We're going to keep on trucking, and then our ultimate goal is to get that roof coating, that white roof, Henry's roof stuff, on the top of this thing, and then to be done with the roof, and then we'll move on to the interior. But in this video, our ultimate goal is to get that roof done and that skylight in. So I'll come back to you when we made more progress. Alright, I wanted to check in with you guys. So we got the emergency hatch off, and my skylight here, which is a 26 by 26, doesn't exactly fit, and there's two problems. One is the curvature of the roof, and two is the hole is a little bit too big. So I'm gonna address that tomorrow. We're gonna be doing some fabricating basically to make that hole smaller and also make it flat so that this thing will easily bolt to it. The other thing is this guy right here. So on top of the roof there's a vent that you will see later, and I was wondering how it worked because there was here it is. So I pulled this panel down. This is the only panel that I had left up, and it's got these vents in it, and there's a vent on the roof, and I was wondering how it works or what it does. And I think it just helps to pull heat out of the bus. But what I'm trying to get at is I don't know. I don't want to keep this, or I'm contemplating. Let's just say that I'm contemplating whether I want to keep it. So there is a vent up there. There's this tiny little gap in this ridge right here. This little hole with a ridge, and I think that's what helps prevent the water from coming in. Because it basically, if the water does go in the vent, it'd have to fill this up first and then come down over through it. I have had a leak here though, so I don't know if it was that or that, but I think we need to delete that. So that's another thing we have to work on. What else? That's pretty much it. I mean, I got the sanding finished, so we are just keep moving forward. It just makes more and more work though, because tomorrow I'll basically have to spend the whole morning. Hopefully I can get it done in the morning, fabricating that setup for the skylight and filling this hole before we can even start doing the roof, which we're getting pretty close on. I still have to pressure wash, but I think I'm going to wait until I'm done with this to get up there and pressure wash and this, because we'll just have to do it again anyways. But I got all the sanding done, pressure wash, and then we'll be putting our roof coating on it after we do all this other fabrication crap. So I'll see you guys tomorrow for that. Good morning, everybody. We are back at it. Today's goal is to get this thing mounted, or at least get the frame built and put in the bus for it. So I did some research prior to buying this and saw that people use this to cover up their existing hole from the escape hatch or emergency exit hatch. And I was hoping it would just be an easy fit, but there's a couple problems. One, the roof is curved, you know, so like you can get this thing up there and you could probably try to bend it down. But the thing is, that kind of distorts it, and it's probably not good for it in the future, you know, when it gets heated up and stuff. Or it might be fine, I don't know. Okay, so there's multiple ways to go about doing this, I'm sure. I want to do it with metal. I don't want to put wood up there because wood can rot. So I have, this is our skylight. It has a 2-inch flange, so it's 26 by 26, but it's got a 2-inch flange. The screws being in the middle. Basically, our hole is a little bit too small one way, or too perfect one way, I guess, because it's 24 inches across on the one side. So actually, it's not perfect. So 24 inches across on one side and like 26 inches almost on the other side. So we really need, basically what you really need is a 24-inch hole because of the 2-inch flange. The inside of this is 24 inches, and you want this whole flange to be mounted, or at least most of it to be mounted. So luckily I do have these pieces of tubing. These are like extra pieces of tubing. When I got my Crossfire, I upgraded it, and we got a different piece of tubing for this. And then same with this one, I can't remember, but it doesn't matter. I have this piece of tubing. It is a 2x2, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to split it and turn it into 2 pieces of angle. And same with this piece of tubing here, this black powder coated one, it's also a 2x2, and we're just going to split it and make 2 pieces of angle because that's what we got laying around. And I don't know if this will ever get used for anything else, so might as well use it now. And then this being galvanized, and whatever we can leave of the powder coating on this after we weld it, you know, it'll help resist corrosion. So that's going to be the start of it. Is basically I need to cut these in half, and then we're going to make a square that is 24 inches on the center, or 24 inches in the middle of the square, 24 by 24, and the outer is going to be 26 by 26. So we just basically need to focus on the outer, making this square a 26 by 26. Making sure that our flanges are pointed in the right way, and then we're going to take it up to the bus, and we're probably going to have to do some cutting on the bus because the hole isn't going to be the right size for this either. So first of all, let's just get this built. Cut this up. Let's get this in a safe place back in the box. We're going to get to work on this. Alright guys, I did end up losing some footage on this. I'm not sure what happened. Camera turned off, malfunctioned, who knows. But it's pretty basic. You know, I just took these, split them, and made a square out of them. And we're just about to go to the bus and have it, you know, start cutting our hole to get it put in. Basically, I had to slice those supports out of there, and then slice a little bit of the roof away and just make it a perfect 26 by 26 so that thing would just slide in there. And then I just welded the seam all the way around. And the good thing is that it actually butted up against those 2 cross members that you see, so it's really structurally sound in there. Another thing I wanted to mention is that when I built this on the bench, I took the skylight and put it on there, marked all the holes, drilled them, put the screws in them, and basically made sure that the thing fit before I even took it up there to weld it in. It just seemed like it was going to be way easier to mess with that on the bench than when you actually get it in there, and then I have to drill holes when I'm up on top of the roof and all that. So I did that prior to putting it in. Alright everybody, we are to this point where this thing is going on. So let's do it. So I also made a panel to go over this vent thing in the front. So this thing is welded all the way around. It's solid, it's primed, and it's going to get, when we do the roof coating, it's going to go right over it. Probably going to go over, I'm probably actually going to put it over the edge of this, like put tape on here and put the roof coating over this, so it seals the edges and seals around the bolts and stuff. So. Alright, there goes that. Ooh, look at that thing. Alright, so that's right. Bolt pattern is right. Go ahead and put some loop on it. Okay. What I got for this is these are the like metal roof style screws. They have this little Lorber washer on them. That's what I have. And I figured it would work. So here we go. Kidding me. I'm one screw short, so now I gotta go down and get a screw and come back. You gotta be kidding me. Alright, move on to Alright, there we go. Silicone on, ready to go. Man, this has been a long road to get here. Next, I'm going to have to pressure wash this thing. I got a little bit more prep to do. And then we're going to be hopefully putting that white coating on the roof. And we'll call this project done, hopefully pretty soon. Alright, there we go. So there's the vent covered up. And then there's our new skylight. So I don't know if anybody's probably going to ask about this, but I'm going to create, well, it'll probably be like pieces of wood or trim in there around the window, because you see the screws coming through, so we'll back those out and drill them into probably some wood when we trim that out. But there will be like curtains, blackout curtains over this, because I know this will be a source of heat when you don't want it. But in the winter time, if you're going camping in the winter time, or if it's a little chilly, open that up. That'll be a nice, a little extra heat for inside of here as well. So it's a plus and a negative. But it's a pretty cheap and effective way to cover up that hole. And I guess I could have just put a piece of sheet metal over it and just covered it up altogether. But I like the idea of having that there, and maybe like stargazing through it when we're camping or something. We'll see. Yeah, so up next is going to be actually coating up next is actually coating the roof with the sealer after we pressure wash it, of course, and just make sure all the prep is good. So we're very close to doing that. I don't have time to do it today, so, and it looks like rain's coming, so it might be a few more days till we can actually get to that, but we'll see. You guys will see it here real shortly. Today is pressure wash day. That's it. I'm gonna pressure wash it. We're gonna let it dry completely. I might have a couple little spots I gotta get in and remove something, or maybe a little extra sanding, but pressure wash, let it dry. Hopefully tomorrow we'll be putting on the roof coating. Good morning, everybody. Another quick update. We are in here, got the little paint shop going on. Just painting stuff like the wiper arms. They were like just kind of faded and just bad looking. So we got the wiper arms painted. Picked out the 4 best of these little visors, I guess you would call them. And I got those painted. And I'm working on the mirrors right now. I didn't want to take them all apart because there's a lot of bolts and stuff, and they're all set up and adjusted pretty good. So basically just scuffed everything up, cleaned it really good, and we're just throwing some paint over them. So those will look nice. Yesterday we got the whole roof done. So I got the tape pulled and everything. We got a nice crisp line there. I'm happy with how that turned out. It all turned out pretty good. I started with 2 gallons and naively thought that might do it. It didn't come even close. We got another 2 gallons and I ended up with about 1/4 of a gallon left. So I got a little bit left for touch up if I need it, but this thing is done and it looks pretty awesome. I'll get up top and I'll show you up there a little bit later, but right now I'm working on painting this stuff and working on the wiring inside, which I'll also show you later. Alright, so I got all my marker lights done. It's looking like it's gonna rain, but so we got I went with the yellow ones on the front and then the 2 on the sides, but the back, because this is how it was when I got the bus, so I'm not sure if there's rules on this or whatever, but you know, we went for red on the back marker or the back corner and then red on this back here. So we got all of those mounted up and we got them all sealed in. I don't know if I would necessarily recommend these lights. Let me show you guys why. Alright, so you got these lights. They were pretty cheap. I got them on Amazon. And there's 3 LEDs right here. I'll get my little screwdriver to pop this out. So that's how they secure in there. So you basically, you put your mounting tab on and then you just put the wires through and you pop it down in there. So a couple of reasons why I wouldn't recommend these necessarily. It all depends on what you're okay with. So when you put these on, sometimes they can get a little distorted, and then it's hard to get that corner to pop in there. So you might have to go underneath it and pull it up. I had to do that a couple times. And then I was thinking about it, and I'm like, I put some silicone on the back, some sealer on the back here, and around this spot especially because it's a big hole that goes into the body. I'm like, I don't want any leaking. But then I put this thing together and I'm like, well, it's going to get in there behind the light because there's no gaskets or anything. So the factory light has a gasket behind the plate. It has a gasket between the light fixture and the thing, and then it has a gasket for the lens. So it's totally waterproof. This thing is a sealed thing, so it is waterproof, but it's not going to keep water out of the bus. So what I ended up doing, I was like, I just have to silicone this whole thing. So I did silicone behind the back, so it had a nice, I mean, it helps it with mounting and cushions it and everything. And then I put silicone around here so that this hole would get filled in. And then I basically siliconed the whole outside of it. So if you're not okay with doing that, I would not really recommend. So every time if one of these goes out, you gotta replace the whole fixture, which I got 20 of them. So I ended up with 3 extra yellows and 5 extra reds. So I got some if they do go bad. Like I said, they're 3 LEDs, but I just ended up siliconing around basically around where the light goes in here and around where this plate goes, because I just don't want any water making its way in there. So that's pretty much it. Just making sure I siliconed everything. So if you don't mind that, these are a pretty good fit, but you know, I had to re-drill most of the holes, pretty much all the holes. So that's the downside to using those. But I just didn't feel like using my factory ones. They're just nasty, and I could have gone through and basically cleaned all of these little protector guys up, and then put like an LED bulb in here, and that would have been nice. And then went through and cleaned all of these lenses, and then but the gaskets were ruined already, most of them, especially these ones for the lenses. They're all just deteriorated, so I would have had to probably just silicone these in anyways, and I just didn't want to go through all that, and I don't really like the way they look. They're kind of older looking, so I think this is a much cleaner look. So I got to go through and wire them all, and then hopefully I'll remember later tonight to get you guys a shot with the lights on, because I'm curious to see what they look like as well. Alright, so you saw my lights outside. I want to go over the wiring inside. So this looks like a mess in here, but actually there's a ton of wires that I pulled out, and then some of these, like these ones here, they're hanging. They're all just grounds. There's just one ground strap back here, and then these are 3 of them are wires from back here that I left hanging to run lights and and charging ports and stuff like that in the future. So I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to need those for yet, but I wanted to leave the option to do that. So I got those there, and I can pull them back through and run them down here, or pull them over and run them on this side, whatever I decide to do with those. So those are there. I pulled a bunch of wires from all the way in the back. I cleaned all of this out. We got basically all of this stuff right here got cleaned out of there. So this thing that controlled all the flashing lights, or you know, that's where they distributed from or whatever, and then just a bunch of stuff that we didn't need. So I got all of this cleaned up. Everything's wired up now. All the marker lights, those are all marker lights up there. It's basically all that's up here now is marker lights and CV antenna. So the marker lights are all wired in. They all work. I'm going to show them to you guys tonight. Hopefully I'll get a video of them, hopefully right before the sun goes down, so it's not too dark. But oh, I need to get my clippers to clip all those zip ties. That's what I was going to do. So, and then down here, the rest of the wiring is just for the wipers and this fan here. So that all comes down here now. I've got it all wrapped up. Same with all this. It all comes together and goes into here. And I had all of this stuff splayed out. And another thing I did is I moved all of my switches from this panel. There were a few switches on this panel, and I just condensed everything down to that panel, including my chains. This is the auto chains, or whatever you call them. That's down there, and all of that, and we still have some more switches in there, although it starts to get a little crowded with the wiring, you know, once you add enough stuff in there. But I wanted to turn this into a little console for me and have charging ports and place to put my phone and all that stuff. Previously, I mean, it's kind of limited, you know, you got that one dinky little cup holder there and that spot maybe to put your phone, but nowhere good to actually stick it and be able to use your GPS. And I'm going to have a reverse camera screen up here, so, you know, all of that stuff, all stuff to come. But I just wanted to show you guys what I've been dealing with wiring. I put a lot of time into this wiring. This video that you're going to see is weeks worth of work, basically, you know, off and on. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I guess I'll see you guys tonight when we check out the lights. Alright, I lied. I guess I wanted to show you guys the roof, or I promised to show you guys the roof. So we are climbing up the hatch that we still have in the back of the bus. So, I'm not sure how that thing's supposed to actually stay open. But I wanted to show you guys the roof. There we go. Here's our roof. Man, I'm not gonna walk around up here. I got shoes on, and it's so nice and clean. I just don't want to, you know, mark it all up. So that's our roof. It's just a clean white slate now, And hopefully we don't have to come up here too much until we, you know, do solar panels and stuff in the future. Let's see if I bring this up this way, if it'll stay up better. Yeah. Okay. I'd like to put some sort of a ladder that comes down from here so you can just climb up here easy. But I'm not sure exactly how that would do, or how I would do that. Okay. Bam. Okay. Alright, so we'll see you guys tonight when check out the lights. Alright, we're gonna check out these lights. It's dark enough now. Well, that's the reverse lights. Let's turn those on too. Actually, I don't know if those turn on. Actually, I do think they turn on when everything's off. Oh, you know what though? The battery's shut off. So let's go ahead and hit the battery. Okay. Bam. Alright, we got some lightage. It's not really dark enough yet to see. I can see that they're working. There's those reverse lights. You can see that those upper ones are working for sure, because they're a nice piece of shade. But I'm gonna move this thing out of the way because it's just been blocking the driveway and causing us to park all weird. You can see those ones are on. So yeah, that's it for this part of the bus project. We finally have that roof sealed in. I got all new LED lights, running lights around the perimeter up there. We got those lights in the back. We got, you know, like I said, we did the roof sealing. We did a bunch of wiring and removed a bunch of wiring. That's big too. So we're making progress here. This thing is a massive project, and I think our next direction is going to be subfloor and ceiling and insulation and stuff, because that's pretty much what naturally comes next on this thing. So my main thing was I just wanted to get that roof sealed in so I didn't have any more leaking. That emergency hatch was leaking. I think that was the main culprit, but it also could have been that vent thing that we filled in. So we got both of those fixed, and got everything sealed in, and I'm excited to go on to the next step. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please smash that like button for me, hit the subscribe, hit the bell if you want to get notified of future videos from DJ's Hot Rod and Fab. Thank you very much for watching, and we will catch you on the next one.